Welcome back. It is unusual for me to see comments on the channel with people who are like, where's the review? Before the games are done. Meaning there must have been something crazy that happened tonight in the NHL. Something that might very well be on the first board. Something that people really want to talk about and are waiting for this video to go live for. So I probably shouldn't have a long preamble. Like, what's the point of having a long preamble when the people want to hear the reviews of the games? Right? How you doing? Everything good? Yeah? All right. Now we'll start. So Toronto and Buffalo. What in the world? So Samsonov versus Levi. The Leafs pressed at a minute and a half, but not a great goal to start out. Greenway, it's wired far side. Clifton and Benson with the assist at 2:27, and yeah, it's not a great goal for Samsonov there. Leafs look to respond. Sabres press at 6 minutes. The shots are 6-0 Buffalo at 6.5 minutes. So people will focus on the goaltending, and I get it, but the Leafs didn't show up. So at 7:28, Matthews goes 5-hole on what was the second shot of the game. And so that makes it a 1-1 tie. We then get a power play for Toronto. That becomes a 5-on-3. There's a shorthanded break for Samuelson. That's saved. And then during the 5-on-4, Domi scores from Riley and Liljegren at 12:39. It's 2-1 for Toronto. Things look good. A minute later, or a minute 5 later, Power scores from Benson and Middlestad. Tie game. Sabres press with 5 minutes left, and eventually, on a turnover, Skinner buries one. He gets that one from Tuck at 15:51. So after the first period, it's 3-2 in favor of Buffalo. Second period, early Leafs power play, that's killed off. We get a power play for the Sabres. That becomes a 5-on-3, and they score during the 5-on-3. It's Darlene from Thompson at 4:44. But during the 5-on-4 that follows, Toronto gets a shorthanded goal. It's Yarncroke from Nylander and Liljegren at 5:42. So that makes it 4-3. And then the Leafs finish the kill. So no harm, no foul. They allow a power play, or they allow the 5-on-3 goal, and then they get the shorthanded goal during the 5-on-4. Evens it up. Then everything falls apart. There's a goal by Thompson. Tuck and Skinner with the assists at 8:22. We get a power play for the Leafs. That leads to Opposo getting a goal, shorthanded at 11:05. The Sabres finish the kill. Then we get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. But yeah, the score is 5-3 in favor of the Sabres after 2 periods of play. So third period, Thompson has a shot that's held. The Leafs press are kept to the outside. Nylander can't bury one in close. Sabres press 4 minutes in. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Nylander's denied on a turnover. The shots are 9-4 in favor of the Leafs with about 9.5 minutes left. And at 11:08, Quinn scores from Peterka and Clifton. So welcome back to the NHL, Quinn. Back from injury and with his first goal of the season. Skinner then scores from Tuck and Thompson at 12:23. And then Opposo scores again. Krebs and Ryan Johnson with the assists at 15:02. I didn't count all of those, did I? No, it was 6-3 after 2. Yeah, this game was done after 2. Your final score is 9-3 in favor of Buffalo. They go to 14-17-3 on the season. Toronto 16-8-6. Here's the interesting thing. So I used the Buffalo goat head at the top, and I thought, well, I can use the Buffalo goat head goal magnets, and I didn't. And I'm glad because I have 6 of those. I have another set that I'm turning into magnets, but I haven't got it done yet. This would have been a panic if that had happened. So, yeah, it was an accident that I went with the regular Buffalo logo, but I stuck with it, and good. So shots on net in this one, 13-10 Buffalo in the first, 10-5 Buffalo in the second, 12-11 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 34-27 Buffalo. Power plays, Toronto 1 for 4, Buffalo 1 for 5. The hits, 23-16 Buffalo. Samsonov saves 14 out of 19. Jones saved 11 out of 15 in relief. It didn't matter who was in the net. The goals were scored. Levi scores 24 out of 27. So coming off of a game where they allowed 9, Buffalo scores 9, which means next game they'll allow 9 again. But they should score 9 or more in that one as well. So maybe it's a 10-9 score that's coming up for them. All right, next up, Washington and Columbus. And I apologize from here on, nowhere near as exciting. Lindgren, I should say, versus Merzlikins in this one. Good early back and forth, but there were no shots on net 4 minutes in. Miroshnichenko, impressing. And again, this was the Columbus broadcast that I had access to, and they were impressed with Miroshnichenko, and I agree. I think he looks like a keeper. There's a delay game call, gives Columbus a power play. Chinikov is a shot that saved. That's killed off. Gauntz nearly opened the scoring. Bemstrom's denied as Columbus presses. The shots are 6 apiece, 3 minutes left. Get a power play for the Capitals with 2:58 left, and they score on it. It is Mantha from Ovechkin and Carlson at 18:22. It is 1-0 Washington after 1. Second period. Ovechkin has a chance to deflect out. The shots on net are 2-1 Columbus, 3.5 minutes in. Lindgren holds with Voronkov on the doorstep. Columbus presses at 5 minutes. We get a power play for the Caps. Things get pushy on a hold by Elvis. And then Bemstrom. Bemstrom scores from Gaudreau and Werenski at 15-17. That's after the power play is done. That was killed off. Caps press with 4.5 minutes left, and eventually they do answer. It's Mantha burying one from the slot. Protas getting the turnover there, and at 17-23, Washington back in the lead. They're up 2-1 after 2. Third period, early press by Columbus. Jiricek has a shot that's held. The Jackets press at 5 minutes. Teams exchange turnovers. There were no Caps shots 7 minutes into this period, and at 12:49, Columbus ties it as Chinakhov from Voronkov and Marchenko. So 3-3 tie. Jackets press with 4.5 minutes left, but you could tell this was going overtime, and that's where we go. Chinakhov sets things up. Marchenko has a shot that's held. Things get punchy with 2:18 left. Wilson goes into the net, and him and Merzlikins kind of mix things up. That's what starts everything. The Caps come out of it with a power play, which made the Columbus fans really unhappy. And then what makes them even more unhappy, or unhappier, at 4:07, Ovechkin breaks his long goal drought. This is his first goal in 15 games on the power play. Strome and Carlson with the assists, and Washington leaves Columbus with a season sweep. They win this one 3-2 in overtime. They're 17-9-4 now on the season. For Columbus, 11-7-6 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 10-7 Washington in the first, 16-11 Columbus in the second, 11-5 Columbus in the third, and 6-2 Washington in the overtime. Final shots, 36-32 for Columbus. Power plays, Washington 2 for 3, so that woke up tonight. Columbus 0 for 1. The hits, 9-5 for Columbus, so not a lot of hits. Lindgren, 34 saves on 36 shots. Merzlikins saved 29 out of 32 at the other end. All right, now, St. Louis in against Florida tonight. This was not the kind of game that I had expected from the Florida Panthers, and it didn't start out great for St. Louis. So it's Hofer versus Bobrovsky. Blues had the only shot on net 3 minutes in. Forsling has a shot kicked aside. We get a power play for the Panthers. That's killed off. The Blues were stuck on one shot for a while. The Panthers press with 5 minutes left. The teams trade late rushes. Buchnevich with a buzzer beater. That's held. So it's scoreless after 1. Second period, early chance for Florida. Verhaeghe fires one high, but then at 4:50, Kyrou scores from Thomas and Buchnevich. It's 1-0 St. Louis. The Blues would score again, but that goal was ruled offside. And then at 7:46, they get it back anyways. It's Buchnevich from Kyrou and Thomas. So there you go, Kyrou with a goal and an assist there. Then Tkachuk has a near miss on a rush. Things get pushy and a hold by Hofer. And then Luostarinen with a goal that's just bonkers. It takes a crazy bounce. Just fooled Hofer from center ice. And it's one of those things, right? Scored from Scandella at 16:43. Scored from Kulikov, I should say, at 13:47. Looking at the wrong goal. But yeah, that makes it 2-1. And that's the only time that Florida beat Hofer. That's apparently how they need to do it from now on. Just bonkers crazy, just ring it around the boards and hope it bounces into the net. St. Louis would answer at 16:43. Toropchenko from Scandella. It's a screenshot that's tipped in. I don't know. I didn't check before coming. I meant to, that whether or not that was still Toropchenko's goal. Last I looked, it still was. There was some debate about whether he touched it in front of the net or not. So 3-1 St. Louis after 2. Really, really surprising result. Third period, Florida came out really strong. They're up 5-0 in shots 2 minutes in. Lomberg with a goal. That's ruled to be a high stick. Lomberg didn't look happy about it, but it was a high stick. The review confirmed it. Shots are 9-3 Florida at the half. Panthers press. They're kept to the outside. We get a power play for St. Louis. That's killed off, but takes 2 minutes off the clock. Bennett has a rush chance that's saved. Mikkola had a blast that was held, and then it's the empty netter. It's Toropchenko from Scandella and Sod at 16:43. So Toropchenko's second goal of the game, and your final score is 4-1. St. Louis goes to 16-15-1 with the win. Florida 18-12-2, and this is a troubling turn for Florida. Shots on net, 11-5 Florida in the first, 15-12 Florida in the second, 12-7 Florida in the third. They do outshoot St. Louis 38-24. Both teams go 0 for 1 on the power play. Hits 23-17 St. Louis. Hofer, 37 saves on 38 shots. And Bobrovsky had 20 saves on 23 shots at the other end. So entertaining, yep, and a surprising result as well. All right, Nashville and Philly. This was a bit of a surprise, but I mean, Nashville's been playing well, right? So it's Saros versus Ersson. It takes 1 minute and 31 seconds. Frost gets one in from behind the net. So you get creative. He did. And so on the third shot, Frost from Brink and Tippett. He scores that one again from behind the net. And it's 1-0 Philly. Get a power play for the Flyers, but their power play's been pretty terrible. So that was killed off. The Preds rushed the other way. Forsberg has a net drive that's defended. Couturier's denied on a rush. We get a press by Nashville at the half. They press again with 6.5 minutes left. Tippett's denied. The rebound's cleared. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. And Nashville presses some more in the final minute. So even though the shots favored Philadelphia in that period, I felt like Nashville had a very good first period. Second period, early power play for the Flyers, and Nashville scores on it. So that's Cole Smith from Sissons at 1:05, and then the Preds finish the kill. Pressed by Nashville at 4 minutes, but the Flyers go back to the power play. So offensive zone penalty taken by Nashville, and Philadelphia scores on this one. Couturier from Frost at 4:45, but they would give it back. Tomasino ties the game from Novak and Forsberg at 5:24, so seconds after that. And it was a tic-tac-toe play on a turnover. Power play then for Nashville. The Preds score, but was it a high stick? Yes. However, there was a penalty being called on the play, so it becomes a 5-on-3 for the Preds. And it's 5 minutes for Trennan, so he gets the 5 in a game. Then it became 4-on-4 during the major. Tippett has a fast break that saved. Everything gets killed off. There's overlapping penalties and such. Flyers press in the final minute with 15.4 seconds left, though. Nashville gets a power play. So after 2 periods, it's 2-2. We're going to the third. Flyers finish the kill. The shots are 6-3 for Nashville. 7 minutes in, we get a press for Nashville. 9 minutes left. Fans call one. The referee doesn't. Sissons has a shot that's blocked and cleared. And Nashville had the puck a lot in that third period. And Tomasino would score from Sissons at 15:59. So that puts Nashville ahead. The goaltender gets pulled. And with 1 second left on the clock, Nyquist hits the empty net. Forsberg with the assist. So your final score is 4-2. Nashville goes in and gets a pretty impressive win over a Philly team that's been pretty hot lately. 19-14 is the record now for Nashville. Philadelphia drops to 18-11-3 with the loss. Shots on net, 13-9 for Philadelphia, both in the first and in the second. 13-5, Nashville in the third. Final shots, both teams had 31. Power plays, 0 for 5 for Nashville, 1 for 4 for Philly. The hit, 16-15 for the Flyers. Saros, 29 saves on 31 shots. Ersson, 27 saves on 30 shots at the other end. So, entertaining game. All right, next up, Carolina and Pittsburgh. This one wasn't quite as entertaining, and I don't know if this was Pittsburgh, who were trying to keep things slow, or if it was Carolina that was doing more defending than attacking, or if it was both. Both teams realizing they need to be more defensively sound, and so you end up with kind of this chess match. So it's Kochetkov versus Nedeljkovic. The Canes had the only shot on net 4 minutes in. Letang has a shot that saved and cleared. Burns has a chance to deflect out, and then on a turnover, Crosby tips one in. He's on a very good pace right now. He scores from Raquel and Gensel at 8:51. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. Then Carolina gets a power play. That's killed off as well. Penguins press are kept to the outside, but they're up 1-0 after the first. Second period. Early press by Carolina. They're up 2-0 in shots 3.5 minutes in. Power play for the Pens. That's killed off. They get another power play shortly thereafter. Carolina kills that one off too. Shots are 6 apiece with 9.5 minutes left. The Canes press, but the Penguins blocking them, keeping them to the outside as well. The Canes press again with 8 minutes left. More pressure. Penguins get pinned down, I should say, and eventually Carolina does tie it. Teravainen from Drury and Slavin at 14:52 makes the score 1-1. Penguins get a power play with 2:47 left. Carolina kills that off. We're going to the third period. In the third, early Slavin chance is held. Zahorna has a net feed that's blocked. The shots are 2 apiece 3 minutes in. Zahorna's then denied on a rush, so he was trying to get that goal to put him up again. 4:42 left. The Canes with a power play. That's killed off. Penguins press in the final minute with 36.6 seconds left. The Canes call a timeout to talk things over. We're going overtime. In the overtime, the Penguins control early. Letang's denied from the slot. Natchez has a rush chance. Aho has a shot that's blocked. Penguins have a power play to close it. Carlson has a shot that's blocked. Crosby hits the crossbar. We're going to a shootout. And in the shootout, Crosby gets the winner. So your final score is 2-1 for Pittsburgh in a shootout. They go to 15-13-3 with the win. With the shootout loss, the Carolina Hurricanes 17-12-4. Shots on net are 5-4 Pittsburgh in the first, 14-9 Carolina in the second, 8-6 Pittsburgh in the third. They had all 3 shots in the overtime. Final shots 25-24 Pittsburgh. Power plays Carolina 0 for 2, Pittsburgh 0 for 5. So rough night for that power play again. Hits 21-13 for Pittsburgh. Kochetkov 24 saves on 25 shots. Nedeljkovic 23 saves on 24 shots. And now I need to change boards. All right, so second board. There's no mercy games, but there's an 80s game that we're going to discuss. However, first, I need to talk about Vegas and Tampa. So it's Patera versus Vasilevsky in this one. Early power play for Tampa Bay. There's a shorthanded chance for Pietrangelo. Misses wide. That power play's killed off. Shots are 4-3 Tampa 3 minutes in, so a lot of chances early. Both goalies had a good first half of that period. I know what the score looks like at the end, but I really can't put this on the goaltending. Bolts press at 9 minutes, but it's Vegas that opens the scoring at 11:40. It's Marchessault. Passes it. Marchessault has an open net. McNabb and Cotter with the assist there. Barbashev then scores at 16:57 from Stone. Good forechecking by Stone leads to the goal. Makes it 2-0 for Vegas. Bolts press to respond, but yeah, it's 2-0 for Vegas after the first. Second period, early press by the Golden Knights. They end up getting a power play. Carrier was hurt on the play. Hopefully he's all right. That power play's killed off. Shots are 8-2 Vegas 7 minutes in. But at 8:25, Barry Boulay gets Tampa Bay on the board. He scores from Hedman and Sherry. Bolts press with 8 minutes left. We get a power play for Tampa. That becomes a 5-on-3. And during the 5-on-3, they score because it's Tampa Bay. Kucherov scores from Stamkos and Hedman at 15:55. And then at 16:26 during the 5-on-4, Tampa scores again. It's point from Paul and Kucherov. And then at 18:49, just to really punch home that, hey, this is our barn, point scores from Paul and Kucherov. So 4 goals there in the second period, make it 4-2. Now, Eichel nearly answered. Puck that he takes on a fast break goes over Vasilevsky, and I thought it was going to land in the net, and it didn't. So very, very fortunate for Tampa that didn't go in, because then it would have been 4-3 going into the third period, yada, yada, yada. But at any rate, it is 4-2 after the second period. Third period, early jump for Tampa. Bolts press at 3 minutes. We get a power play, though, for Vegas, and they score on it. Vegas is very good in third periods. Marchessault scores that one from Carlson and Eichel at 5:31. Vegas then looks to tie it, and eventually they do. Cotter gets a goal from McNabb and Hutton at 9:44. It was a screenshot during a good press. So, again, I can't really lay that score on the goaltenders. I don't think the goaltenders were a problem tonight. So there's a power play for Tampa. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off. And then late in the game, 18:47, Paul scores from Hedman and Point to make it 5-4. And then Eichel's denied in the closing seconds as Vegas is looking to tie. But yeah, Tampa Bay, 5-4 win at home over Vegas. They go to 16-13-5 on the season. Vegas drops to 21-8-5. Their second straight regulation loss. Shots on net, 11-9 Tampa Bay in the first, 13-12 Tampa Bay in the second, 13-12 Vegas in the third. Final shots 36-34 for Tampa. Power plays, Vegas 1 for 4, Tampa Bay 2 for 4. The hits 19-18 for Tampa. Patera saves 31 out of 36. Vasilevsky saves 30 out of 34. So, yeah, a lot of goals in that one, but not quite 10, so it doesn't qualify as an 80s game. All right, next up, Oilers. This was almost an 80s game, too. And remember what I've said. It is tough for me on nights there's this many games if there's a lot of goals. So there was a lot of goals. Pickard versus Schmid in this one, 24 seconds in, and Akira Schmid gives up a goal. McLeod from Gagne at 24 seconds. Kane nearly adds one. The shots are 3-1 for the Oilers at 3.5 minutes. And then Nugent Hopkins buries a rebound from Ekholm and McDavid at 5:23. That ends the night for Akira Schmid. I didn't read that as meaning that Schmid had a bad start. I read that as Lindy Ruff trying to get his boys going and get them in the game. The shots are 8-1, though, 7 minutes in favor of the Oilers. So it didn't have immediate results. There's a shoulder save on Nemitz. McDavid to Ekholm, there's a near miss there. Devils press with 7.5 minutes left. Eventually they score. Mercer posting in McLeod with the assist at 13-14. So the McLeod brothers, a little bit of a back and forth between them tonight. Power play for the Oilers, that's killed off, and then the Oilers press with 1.5 minutes left, but it's still 2-1 Oilers after one. Second period at 1:39, Siegenthaler scores from Nemitz and McLeod. So there's McLeod again. Devils press at 3.5 minutes. The shots are 4-3 Oilers at 5 minutes. The Oilers then get some pressure of their own 6 minutes in. More pressure by them the next shift. Devils are blocking. Then there's a post for Hyman. Vanacek holds. Power play for the Oilers. Nugent Hopkins has a shot that's held. That's killed off. Jack Hughes has a rush chance that's defended, but before the period's out, New Jersey has a lead. It's Timo Meier from Mercer at 16:26. It's 3-2 after the second period in favor of the home team. So things look good, right? Maybe New Jersey's going to win one at home and start getting the record even up. No. Third period. Minute and 40 seconds in, McDavid scores from Ekholm and Nugent Hopkins, and it just opens the floodgates. At 2:22, Draisaitl scores. At 2:49, Ernie scores from Gagne. So Gagne with a couple of helpers. The Oilers get a power play. That's rescinded because it was one of his own teammates hit him in the face with a stick. And then McLeod. So the night of the McLeods. He scores. It's a turnover. It's buried. That's the Oilers' McLeod at 9:04. And so that's 4 goals in like about 7.5 minutes. Bronx cheer on the next save by Vanacek. And again, I don't know if I can put this on the goalies. McDavid has a rush chance to save. The Devils press with 4 minutes left, but it doesn't matter. In the end, your score is 6-3 for the Oilers to go to 14-15-1 with the win. And since they've been so streaky, maybe this means they're ready to start a streak in the positive. But their next game's against the Rangers. New Jersey, 16-13-2 with the loss. Shots on net, 12-9 New Jersey in the first, 18-6 Edmonton in the second, 11-8 Edmonton in the third. Final shots, 38-26 for the Oilers. Power plays, the Oilers 0-2. New Jersey didn't have any. Hits, 22-13 New Jersey. Pickard saved 23 out of 26. Schmid saved 4 out of 6 shots. And then Vanacek saved 28 out of 32 in relief. So overall, not a fantastic game if you're a New Jersey fan, but you probably feel pretty good if you're an Oilers fan, right? All right, next up. Vancouver and Dallas. So, fun game. Fun for me because, I don't care who scores. I just want to see a good game. So Demko versus Wedgwood and no injuries. Bluger is denied on a net drive, and then Joshua scores from Garland and Bluger at 2:51. The shots are 4-3 for Dallas, 5.5 minutes in. Miller has a net drive that saved. We get a power play for the Stars. That becomes a 4-on-4. And then at 10:51, Sagan scores. It was tipped in after a face-off win. Duchesne and Heiskanen with the assists. That makes it a 1-1 tie. Canucks press with 6.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Stars. That's killed off. Robertson's denied from the slot, but it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Early press by the Canucks. Ben has a net drive that's saved. We get a power play for the Canucks. That's killed off. And then at 7:51, Hintz. Really nice pass by Robertson to set this up. Pavelski with the other assist. Dallas has their first lead of the game. So power play for Dallas. That's killed off. And then after that, at 12:26, Besser wires one on a rush. That's his 24th of the season from Miller and Hughes. Wife wasn't home. I had to send her the voice message again. What can I say? Every time Yvonne leaves the house, Besser scores a goal. Canucks press with 6.5 minutes left. The Stars press with 3.5 minutes left. Too many Stars on the ice with 2:29 left, so it's Canucks power play. That's killed off. It's 2-2 after 2. Third period, Hakanpää has a shot that's held. Besser had a shot that was blocked. The hitting's ramping up at this point. Joshua has a rush chance. That's defended. Shots are 3-0 Dallas at 5.5 minutes. Stars press at the half. Hronek has a shot deflect wide. There's a near miss for Pettersson. Smith's then denied on a 3-on-2 rush. Pavelski to Hintz, near miss there. And then at 15:04, Garland scores. Joshua and Bluger with the assist. So that third line is going very well for Vancouver. Gets a couple of goals tonight. Canucks look for another, but at 16:30, Harley buries one in close. Robertson with the assist. Canucks press with a minute and a half left, looking for that regulation win. It's not happening. We're going to overtime, tied at 3. It's one of those times where as soon as the regulation's done, I kind of, a little cheer because both teams get a point, right? So overtime, Robertson has a chance that deflects out. Stars control, they set up, and they're playing keep away. Like, Vancouver doesn't get the puck until there's 2:15 left in the period, and they do take over. Then there's a rush by Hintz when they get the puck back. Stars set up. Pettersson is robbed on a 2-on-0, and as soon as that 2-on-0 doesn't score, that's where you get the feeling of, hey, I think I know what's going to happen. At 4:49 it does. Matt Duchesne scores from Harley and Johnston on their own fast break, and Dallas wins this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 19-8-4 with the win. The overtime loss makes Vancouver 22-9-3. And at that point, Vancouver first in their division, Dallas first in their division, Boston first in their division. I do believe that's changed now because of this game that ended later, but for that brief time, all three teams I root for first in their division. So shots on that in this one favored Dallas the whole way through. 16-6 Dallas in the first, 9-5 Dallas in the second, 9-8 Dallas in the third, 2-1 Dallas in the overtime. Final shots are 36-20 for Dallas. Power plays, both teams go for 3. The hits, 16-12 Vancouver. Demko, 32 saves on 36 shots. Wedgwood, 17 saves on 20 shots at the other end. Dallas knows with Wedgwood, you've got to block more shots, and I thought they did a good job of that tonight. All right, moving along. Montreal. Montreal has problems in Minnesota. I get it, but tonight this has to be considered, a pretty strong result if you're a Habs fan. So it's Montembeault versus Gustafsson. Armia misses one wide on a 2-on-1. The shots are 2-1 for the Wild, 4.5 minutes in, and Montreal was stuck on one shot for a while. We get a power play for Minnesota, and they score on it. It's Boldy from Kaprizov and Rossi at 13-19. Matheson then prevents a goal for the Wild. The Wild score, offside challenge. It counts. So it's Rossi from Bogosian and Kaprizov at 14:54. That means the Wild go to the power play because delay a game. That's killed off. But it's 2-0 Minnesota after one. Second period. Wild press at a minute and a half. There's more pressure from them 4 minutes in. Slavkovsky has a fast break. That's saved. He wanted a call on that play. He felt he was hooked. He does not get that call. Habs press at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for Montreal. That's killed off. But the shots are 6-0 Montreal 7 minutes in. At 8:17, Savard. He scores from Caulfield and Suzuki. We then had a fight between Gouli and Rossi. I don't think anybody had that on their board. Montreal comes out of that with a power play. That was killed off. The Wild, they get a power play because of what set up that fight between Gouli and Rossi. The Wild get a power play. Johansson's denied. That's killed off. With 5:18 left, there's a 4-minute power play for Montreal. Minnesota kills that off. But with 30 seconds left, the Habs go back to the power play. So that rolls over into the third period, and Suzuki would score early in that third period to tie it. Slavkovsky and Matheson with the assists at 1 minute and 8 seconds. So the Wild press to respond. The fans call one, the referee doesn't. Shots are 2-1 Montreal, 7 minutes in. Power play for the Wild, and they score on it. It's Faber, who had a very good game tonight. Faber's putting up a ton of minutes. He's starting to generate some buzz league-wide. Kaprizov and Rossi with the assists at 8:57, and it was a one-timer on a face-off, offensive zone face-off win for Minnesota. Habs press with 8.5 minutes left. The Wild then press with 6.5 minutes left. But at 16:57, Montreal ties it again. This time it's Slavkovsky with his first in a while. He scores that one from Savard. It was a screenshot that's deflected in by Slavkovsky. 1:27 left. The Wild get a power play. So that rolls over into the overtime. The Habs do finish the kill, and we went a long stretch of 4-on-4 after because, of course, it stays 4-on-4 until the next whistle. We went a while without a whistle there. So Monahan fires one wide on a turnover. Caulfield's denied. The Wild take it over. And at 4:55, just as I'm like, I guess this one's going to a shootout too. Nope. Kaprizov wires it. No chance for Montembeault on that. Johansson and Faber with the assists. So Brock Faber with another point. And so your final score is 4-3 for Minnesota in the overtime. They go to 14-13-4 with the win. Montreal drops to 14-13-5 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 13-3 Minnesota in the first, 12-4 Montreal in the second, 8-5 Montreal in the third. In the overtime, both teams had 2 shots. The second shot by Minnesota, the one that matters. Final shots are 25-24 Montreal. Power plays, Montreal 1 for 5. Minnesota 2 for 6. Hits 17-13 for Minnesota. Montembeault, 20 saves on 24 shots. Gustafsson, 22 saves on 25 shots. So, yeah, impressive all around. All right, next up, Ottawa and Colorado. So I know I just did a video on Ottawa. I feel like now it would be a more interesting video because now they've had leads and they've blown these leads. And, they go from playing well and you're like, yeah, they're playing well. They should win. Oh, never mind. No. Happened in Arizona. It happens again tonight. So it's Korpisalo versus Georgiev. We get an early power play for the Abs. They score on it. At 2:43, it's McKinnon from Drouin, Makar. The shots are 4-0 Abs, 3.5 minutes in, and it looks like they're going to run him out of the building. Drouin has a rush that's defended. Sends press with 8.5 minutes left, and they would eventually tie it. Norris gets his 11th of the season. Batherson and Stutzla with the assists at 15-13, and 15 seconds. 15 seconds later, Greg makes it a 2-1 lead from Kubalik and Chychrun. So there you go. Ottawa's got a lead, but it doesn't last. At 18:28, McKinnon gets his 300th goal in his career. He gets that one from Nichushkin. And so, yeah, pretty big game for McKinnon. It's 2 goals for Ottawa and 2 goals for McKinnon. 2-2 after 1. Second period. Early press by the Sens. And, this one goes 5-hole off of Makar's stick at 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's Bernard Docker from Schmeichel as well as Kastelik. So all of a sudden, we have a 3-2 lead for Ottawa in Denver. And all I could think was, they just lost against Chicago. They cannot afford to lose at home against Ottawa. They just can't. You can't have those losses back to back like that. Malinsky has a rush chance that saved. The Sens press at 4.5 minutes. The shots are 6-5 Colorado, 6 minutes in. We get a power play for the Sens. That's killed off. The Abs press at 9.5 minutes. Some near misses during that. Makar has a shot that's blocked. It's cleared out. We get a power play for the Abs. That was killed off. And then at 14:47, Batherson scores for Ottawa from Tarasenko and Zub. So suddenly it's a 4-2 lead. Then we get a power play for Ottawa. There's a net feed to Batherson, gets picked off. But then that power play after it's killed off, the Abs get their turn with 1:42 left, and at 19:43, McKinnon scores on the power play. But after the second period, it's 4-3. And all I could think was, if Ottawa could just get through this third period, not allow a goal, and get a big win in Colorado, maybe, right? But no, it's Ottawa. This year, Ottawa is it's been disappointing, and it just seems to keep heading down this downhill run of disappointment. It's like without the skis, your skis have been left behind you. You've got one ski pole, you can't do squat with it. But anyways, Taves is denied as the Abs press, and I can use a skiing metaphor because avalanche. So shots are 2-1 Abs, 3 minutes in, I should say. Tkachuk has a chance that's held. Good forechecking by the Sens fourth line, who had a good night tonight. Power play for the Abs. McKinnon has a hat trick goal, and they challenged it for offside. And all I could think was, there are hundreds of hats on this ice. It would be funny if the hat trick goal didn't count. It would be funny because all these hats, and then you just pick them all up. And I know that's happened in the NHL before, that hat trick goals end up being taken back, or I've seen it as well where it's a hat trick goal and then they change who actually got credited for the goal after. But anyways, the goal counts. The challenge, it was so close. I think it was Nichushkin on the far side. His skate blade is just touching the blue ice enough that there was no definitive angle that showed he was offside. Initially, at real speed, I was like, oh yeah, that's offside. When you look at the freeze frame, I didn't see a definitive one that showed he was in before the puck. So McKinnon gets that one from Taves and Nichushkin at 6:16. Now remember, it's a failed challenge, so the Avs go back to the power play, and Jacques Martin finds out why that can be dangerous. Because during that power play, Avs score again. It's Rantanen from McKinnon and Makar at 7:10. He just tips that one in. And you could see Korpisalo grabbed at his mask after. He was upset with himself when that one went in. We get a power play for the Sens. That's killed off. 7:32 left. The Sens with a power play. That was killed off as well. Sens press with 5 minutes left. With 4:05 left, the Sens get another power play. The fans are not happy, but the Sens can't score either. So that was killed off as well. So that's the third straight kill. So they pull the goalie, and McKinnon hits the empty net from Nichushkin at 19:37. It is the first career 4-goal game for McKinnon. So kudos to Nathan McKinnon for finally having a 4-goal game. And the Avs win this one 6-4. They go to 20-11-2. And for Ottawa, they're 11-17 on the season. Shots on net, 20-9 Colorado in the first, 21-12 Ottawa in the second, and 15-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 45-39 for Ottawa. Power plays, Ottawa 1 for 6, Colorado 4 for 5. Might be the problem for Ottawa tonight. Hits are 20-14 for Colorado. Korpisalo 33 saves on 38 shots, and Georgiev 41 saves on 45 shots. So I need to change boards. All right, just 2 games on this board, of course. Starting with Calgary and Anaheim. So big night for Jacob Markstrom. We'll talk about it. But first, we're going to talk about the fact it's Markstrom versus Dostal. And I thought Dostal had a good game tonight. He just had zero support. So early press by Calgary. The Ducks, they press at 2 minutes. But it's Calgary that opens the scoring at 2:24. It's DeSimone with his first of the season. Zary and Lindholm with the assists. Ducks look to answer. 5 minutes in, the shots are 7-3 for Calgary. We get a power play for the Flames. That's killed off. Huberdeau to Backlund's picked off. Huberdeau had a bunch of shots tonight. He does not end up producing a point. Calgary announcers clearly excited for the idea of Huberdeau starting to produce. It's just not working. It's just not clicking. But it is 1-0 Calgary after the first. Second period. Zary's denied as the Flames press. Carlson has a rush chance that's defended. The Ducks draw a power play. That leads to a break for Sharangovich, shorthanded. He's denied. That power play is killed off, and the Flames had the best opportunities. In fact, I'm writing Flames had best chances as the guy on TV is announcing it, Rick Ball. I don't appreciate that you've got a camera in here somewhere or in here because I was writing it. It was before I even... So there's something weird going on. But anyways, shots are 6-0 for Calgary 5 minutes in. Too many Ducks on the ice. The Flames come out of that with a power play, of course, and they score on it. It is Lindholm from Kadri and Sharangovich at 7:49. Minchukov is then denied on a fast break. We get a power play for Anaheim. That lasts a minute and 57 seconds. It becomes 3 seconds of 4-on-4. It's a 4-minute high stick then takes place that makes it a 5-on-3 for Calgary for 30 seconds. Zary hits the outside of the net. There's a shorthanded rush by McGinn that's saved. Uyghur has a blast that's saved late in the power play. That is killed off. Drysdale then prevents a Flames goal. It could have been uglier, but it's still 2-0 for Calgary after 2 periods. Third period, we get a power play for the Ducks. Hanifin shot blocking. Not only that, but Hanifin looked like he got hurt on a shot block. Kept blocking the puck after he'd already been dinged up. Silverberg has a shot deflect high. That power play's killed off. The Flames then get a power play. That's killed off as well. The shots are 4-1 Calgary at 6.5 minutes. The ref's told that he sucks. I think it was a trip they thought they saw or they wanted a call on. But the ref's told that he sucks. Drysdale has a shot that's caught and held. Carlson got hurt. He just got tangled up with, wasn't that with Uyghur? Anyways, yeah, his right leg gets tangled up. It did not look good. Carlson goes off the ice. He wasn't putting weight on his right leg. Here's to hoping it's not as bad as it looked. It did not look good. It looked like, ACL, MCL kind of territory, or at the very least something bad with his knee. So 6:51 left. The Flames with a delay game call, so that gives the Ducks the power play. That's killed off. Things get pushy on a hole by Markstrom. Eventually they pull the goalie, and at 18 minutes, AJ Greer gets the empty netter. Lindholm with the assist. So that makes it 3-0, and then things get really punchy late in the game, so the Flames finish the game out on a power play, and these two teams don't like each other. Your final score is 3-0 for Calgary, so the Tony the Tiger Magnet, because Markstrom's great. 14-14-5 is the record for Calgary now. The Ducks drop to 12-20 on the season. Shots on net, 13-12 Anaheim in the first, 25-9 Calgary in the second, 7-5 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 44-27 for Calgary. Power plays, 1 for 7 for the Flames, 0 for 4 for Anaheim. Hits, 12-10 for Anaheim. Markstrom, 27 saves on 27 shots for both his 200th career win and his 19th career shutout. When this channel started out, Markstrom's in Vancouver, he didn't have a shutout. I remember when Markstrom wasn't allowed to have a shutout. I remember how frustrated I got Markstrom didn't have a shutout. I'm so happy he has 19 shutouts in his career and that he has 200 wins, considering some of the miserable years he had in Vancouver. So kudos to him for that. Dostal saved 41 out of 43. Might have had the best game of his career. No goal support at the other end. So, but Dostal had a good game. All right, last game of the night, and it's the Arizona Coyotes and the San Jose Sharks. So it's Vejmelka versus Blackwood. The Sharks press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are 1 apiece at 4.5 minutes. Done but a Cooley. There's a near miss there. Krause fires one high from the slot. Duclair to wrap around. That wouldn't go. Sharks press with 8 minutes left. Dursey has a shot that's blocked and cleared. Kerfoot had a chance that's kicked aside. Zadina and Eklund are denied in the final minute. Sharks press to close it out, but it's a quiet period of hockey. It's scoreless after 1. Second period, Hurdle has a net drive that's held. The Coyotes get zone time, but they're not getting shots at this point. Eklund has a rush chance that's defended, and then on a great pass by Keller, Kesselring scores at 4:57. So that's a 2-game goal scoring streak for Kesselring. But the Sharks answer. Duclair on a breakaway. Beautiful goal, too. Zetterlund with the assist at 6:19. But the Coyotes get that back. Keller scores from Kerfoot at 8:28. It goes in off Blackwood on a breakaway. Like, if the puck hadn't touched Blackwood there, it would have come out, but it comes out and hits Blackwood in the back, and it goes into the net. So, just tough break for Blackwood. Coyotes press at the half. The power play for the Sharks is killed off, and then at 12:56, Kerfoot. It goes in off of his skate. They didn't challenge it for a kicking motion, probably for the best. It wouldn't have come back. Kerfoot gets that one from Schmaltz and Dursey. So it's 3-1 for Arizona after 2. Or not after 2, not yet. We're not to the end of the second yet. Michelli has a shot that's caught and held. There's part of my brain that's already on the Christmas break. I've realized that today. Spelling errors on my boards, just little things, little misspeaks. And brain's probably on Christmas vacation at this point. Schmaltz has a shot that's blocked as they press. 3:07 left. The Coyotes get a power play. Sharks don't let him set up. Dursey goes down on a collision with Ruda. That looked kind of brutal. When they're not ready for a collision, it usually looks rough. They're not braced for it. Sharks kill it off. Not only that, there's no shots for Arizona on that power play where Dursey got hurt in a collision with Ruda. So it is 3-1 for Arizona after 2. Third period. 26 seconds is all it takes. Zadina tightens this game up. He scores from Ferraro and Eklund. Teams exchange turnovers. Thrun has a rush chance. That's saved. Keller hits the back of the net as Arizona's pressing. The Coyotes do draw a power play, though, and they score on it. It's a tic-tac-toe play. Good cycle. Schmaltz from Kerfoot and Keller at 7:44. Sharks press at 9 minutes, but the Coyotes are blocking at this point, and Krause wires one from the high slot. A partial screen on that, too. Michelli and Bukestad with the assists at 12:49 makes it 5-2. Then Cooley gets hurt on a rough crash into the boards. He took a trip on the play, so it's a power play for Arizona coming out of it. But just, it's where he gets tripped and everything, and he went awkwardly into the boards. He did go to the bench, though, so he didn't go to the locker room. He went to the bench where he's with the trainer, and, the trainer's asking him what hurts, checked his knee, checked his back, checked his side. So I think Cooley's probably just a little banged up. Might have knocked the wind out of him. So the Coyotes do get that power play, which San Jose kills off, but that's it. 5-2 is your final. Arizona goes to 17-13-2. They have a 4-game winning streak. Now, 2 of those 4 wins are against San Jose, but they did win those trap games. San Jose 9-21-3 with the loss. Yep, San Jose's right back to losing, which is to be expected. Shots on net, 12-7 San Jose in the first, 8 apiece in the second, 14-11 Arizona in the third. Final shots 31-29 for the Sharks. Power plays, Arizona 1 for 3, San Jose 0 for 1. The hits, 9-7 in favor of Arizona. And this is what I was talking about in that video today. The hitting has really, you can see it, it's really dropped. Vejmelka, 29 saves on 31 shots there, and Blackwood, 24 saves on 29 shots at the other end. But I'm not going to put it on Blackwood because, yeah, Keller was in the zone tonight, and the Coyotes just weren't losing these 2 points. So let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm not doing a new panic index just because of the 9-3 loss that Toronto suffered tonight. But hey, thanks for the idea. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.